Hey, Amazon sellers. I want to share something that can completely change the way you run your business. For the last decade, I've built a world-class Amazon team that's helped me sell over $50 million on the platform and scale multiple seven-figure brands. Now, that same team and process is available to help you build, grow, and scale your Amazon business. This is not a course. It's not a DIY program. It's done for you Amazon growth handled by proven experts. We handle everything from listing optimization and SEO to PPC, inventory, catalog management, promotions, review strategy, compliance, and new product launches. So you can focus on running your business while we handle the rest. If you're ready to turn your Amazon channel into a profit machine, visit the link in the show notes, calendly.com/firingtheman/Amazon, and book a time to see if this is a good fit for you.
Welcome everyone to the Firing the Man podcast, a show for anyone who wants to be their own boss. If you sit in a cubicle every day and know you are capable of more, then join us. This show will help you build a business and grow your passive income streams in just a few short hours per day. And now your hosts, serial entrepreneurs David Schomer and Ken Wilson.
Welcome, everyone, to the Firing the Man podcast. Today's guest is Hai Mag, the visionary CEO behind Ava Commerce, or Ava.Guru, one of the fastest growing AI platforms in the Amazon and D2C ecosystem. Under his leadership, Ava has become a top 10 global advertising technology solution powered by an over 100-person development team driving innovations across PPC optimizations, reimbursements, and profit analytics. Hai is a true pioneer in the AI-driven growth for e-commerce brands, combining data science, automation, and practical seller experience to help thousands of brands improve margins, boost ad efficiency, and uncover lost profits. Whether you're an Amazon veteran or a D2C founder looking to outsmart your competitors, you're going to walk away from this conversation with actionable strategies for organic growth-driven advertising and scaling profitability in 2025 and beyond. Hi, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, David. It's absolutely a pleasure.
Absolutely. So we had you on the show back in 2022, and I remember in my Rolodex of contacts, you were one of the first people talking about AI. And at that point in time, it wasn't even really on my radar. And so my question is how have things changed? How has the e-commerce landscape changed, and how is AI playing a role in that?
Well, it's kind of a funny story, but I'm talking about AI, being a computer engineer with a master's in AI. I'm talking about AI from 95 almost, like 1995. And I have to tell you, nobody was listening to me at the time because nobody believed in it. And now it's 2025. Now everybody believes in it, but there's so many people talking about it, so much noise. Now nobody's listening to me.
Yeah.
Because like too much noise, right? But I mean, a lot of things changed and a lot of things are changing. I just want to give you this idea. I'm not going to expand too much on it, but my son, who is in the high school now, and he was like 2 years ago, he told me, hey, maybe I should become a computer engineer like you. And I told him, son, it's your decision, but I am not sure if that particular job will exist in a decade. And he was like, what? And I said, well, I don't know, because the AI is kind of like really going faster and faster. And it's so amazing, like how it evolved so far. But I have to say that 6 months later, that will be like 2 times more things will come. So that's the evolution of AI today.
Absolutely. Since 1995, that's incredible. And well, very good. And to all of our listeners, that's that is the educational underpinnings of Hai and why we love having him on the show. So today's conversation, I really want to talk about advertising on Amazon. And this is something that has definitely changed over the years. I remember when I first started selling on Amazon, you could you could have 100% organic sales on certain products. And it really has changed into a pay-to-play platform where PPC has to be part of your strategy. When you're pricing things, pricing in a tacos line item is a necessity. And so, from your standpoint, how has Amazon advertising changed?
Oh, absolutely. So, first of all, as you said, before it was all about people who bought this product, also liked this product type of nice stuff that was available on Amazon, no ads. And when the ads started, like if you're selling a supplement brand and you can just bid on vitamin C and you can make a lot of money out of it. Now, most of this is pretty much gone. What I'm seeing is like the way it evolved today is, first of all, that's the only way to grow your business. Like, I mean, all the other ways are pretty much like supplementary to that, or the other ways are supplementing your advertising strategy because you would like to improve your CTR or CVR. Definitely you're going to invest on SEO or graphic design and all that stuff. But there are like two main ways. I wouldn't say the only way. I just say that two main ways to grow the business. One is definitely the advertising, and the other one is the off Amazon marketing, pretty much not the advertising angle, but the influencer angle to that, right? So these are the kind of the two things that I see. But when it's on Amazon, because it's a very data-driven platform, now it has to be really smart. Like the whole advertising needs to be smart. And that's where the AI kicks in, right? Like the only challenge is like maybe, like we should go back to also explain what it means AI-driven advertising, because one of the things that I feel like almost every software company and agency is telling that they are AI-powered, AI-driven. Is that so? Like, I think maybe we should start with some definitions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's go. Let's get into it. What does AI-driven mean in the context of Ava and what you guys have developed over there?
Well, absolutely. So first of all, I mean, from a kind of a terminology point of view, from a conceptual point of view, not from a marketing point of view, AI-driven system means the system which is trained by the past data and learns every day from like the past data and the decisions and the results of the decisions. So meaning that the main difference between a kind of a rule-based system and AI-based system is, on a rule-based system, you basically say, if the color is yellow, then do this. Now, the rule doesn't change, where on the AI system, you basically end up seeing that maybe the yellow is not like, if it's yellow, do A, and then you end up learning, like the system learns that A is not correct and switches to B based on learning from the outcomes. So that's the kind of the main difference. One is learning and one is not learning. Now, the not learning system, which is rule-based, is what we call AI-based in the market. Like 98% of the softwares that are available are rule-based, which is nothing wrong with that, okay? Like pretty much all the companies that you know in the market right now, more and more, I'm seeing that they are not talking about AI, they say automation, etc., but it's all rule-based. Nothing wrong with that because the rules make sense, but also it also makes sense to build an AI-based system which learns from the data and adjusts the rules too.
Okay. I'm excited to dig into that in the context of PPC. And one of the things that I think may be helpful Well, let's dig into that in terms of PPC. Okay, and maybe we could use an example, say like Dog Bowl or something like that. When people are setting up campaign infrastructure and they're doing it manually, what are the things that they're missing out on that an AI-driven tool could help them with?
Absolutely. So I'll come to that point, but before that, let me explain what we did with Eva, because we are believers of AI, but we realize that it is not about the system only deciding what to do, because that's kind of a black box approach. And over the last couple of years, even we started with our journey with pricing. And 3 years ago, we were talking about dynamic pricing with you, David. And for many years, the customers said, we don't like the black box approach. We don't like without knowing, doing things that like AI, basically it's like, why did you do it? And the answer is AI, right? So, and then it's not satisfactory for many of the Amazon sellers because they know what they are doing too. They want automation, but they know. So we came up with the idea of configurable AI, meaning that the AI works, but you define your own rules and the rules override the AI. We kind of like give this analogy of like today, the 25 AI technologies called the AI agents. Basically, you create your own agent based on the foundation of Eva AI, but then you define your own rules so that you kind of like address like 4 main pillars of automation. Now, one of them is like campaign creation, and maybe the other one is bid optimization. I'll talk about the other 2 pillars, but let's think about the campaign creation and bid optimization. So first of all, back to the example that you gave, the system already it knows everything. Like, I mean, in the past, people used tools like Helium 10 or some other tools, Jungle Scout, etc., try to understand like which keywords, what is the search volume, but this data is now available on the Amazon, reports. Now the question is, do you really want the PPC guy to go into these reports like search term report, SQPR, etc., and then figure out like which keywords are now appearing as a result of an automated campaign, and now let's kind of create a new campaign out of that, right? So that is where the Eva AI automates based on, the Amazon data and based on like, basically we have access right now to almost 10,000 brands data and brings it together and decides whether it makes sense to create a campaign or not. Now, let's assume that the Eva AI already decides creating these campaigns and kind of thinks that if a keyword has 200 impressions, I should create a campaign. So let's say that's the Eva AI way, okay? Now, as a business owner, you think that, the profit level that you have or the category or your experience basically says that, you want to create campaigns when there is more than 500 impressions. Now, on top of it, you are even more cautious. You want to add also, I would like to see at least 2 organic orders. I don't know. So you basically define whatever rule you want to define based on 50 parameters that are all available, anything that is, imaginable on Amazon that you can define a parameter like CVR, CTR, ACOS, TACOS, revenue, organic sales, whatever, like think about all of them is available. You define your own rule and you overwrite AI. If there is a rule defined, then you overwrite the AI. So that's kind of our design principle. You as the owner define the rules. If you don't define any rules, AI works. If you define the rules, you'll overwrite the AI. The combination of that is your special store-specific AI agent, which works on your terms. That's the idea.
I really like that, and the AI plus human element is something that I think is really critical. I've talked about this publicly on the podcast. I do it again. I ran Perpetua for a while. It's an AI driven software, and I always felt like I had an invisible hand in my account. And when it came to some of the keywords that it was bidding on, I was like, "What? This has nothing to do with my product." And I also, I felt as a business owner like I didn't have a lot of say in how the automations were performing. And so I like that you get to set your parameters. And what would be, I think PPC is very easily an overwhelming topic. Like it's something that you either go very deep in or you're overwhelmed by it and you hire somebody. And so in terms of, coming in and setting up rules, what do you think are some of the most important things for business owners to be looking at or to set up?
Absolutely. So we basically meet with so many different types of business owners, or even like the PPC experts that work for other companies. Like, obviously their level of expertise is very different. Now, one of the design principles that we have is like the tool needs to serve anyone. Meaning that if you're a business owner and you have absolutely no idea about what you are doing with PPC, your level of expertise is 0 out of 10, at least you know what's your budget, like how much money you want to spend, what should be like an ACOS or TACOS. At least you can set one of them, and you can do it at a store level, product level, or a campaign level, but probably campaign level is already too detailed. But at least on the store level and product level, you set up your business idea, like you can set your business ideas, and you're done. Then the rest will be done by AI. Now, the biggest thing here is that there is a 3-level configuration possibility, meaning that it's not only at the store level, but also at the product level and the campaign level. Because a lot of business owners, I always tell them, if you're running your Amazon business, your business is not at the store level. It's actually a combination of some of your products. So it's actually the portfolios are the ones that you are running, meaning that each portfolio may have a different budget and a different ACOS TACOS target. One is like a new launched product, or it's a launch product. One is like maybe a profit maximization portfolio, and the other one is like a couple of products coming together because they are pretty much the same. So meaning that you need to have a system that you can define your portfolios in a very flexible way. That's why we have a very simple to use tag management. So you basically create your custom tags on your products, and now voila, you have that portfolio which is tagged, and now you can define your rule based on the portfolio. Now, that is for a business owner. It's really 2 things. They can tag the products and they can configure the business parameters at the portfolio level. But if you're a PPC expert, now you want more. We basically identified 4 areas of automation. One of them is definitely negative keywords or negation, like you mentioned before. And now there is the bid optimization, automatic campaign creation, day parting, and keyword negation. So these are the 4 main areas of automation that we see. Now, the system is already automating with AI, okay, so which is learning and automating. But the biggest thing is now you can define any rules as a business owner or the PPC expert at any of these main 4 pillars. So you can also say that, hey, I would like to negate these words specifically, or you can also go back and change the bid optimization, or the system suggests you, for example, not like, I've seen a lot of agencies like talking about day parting. They say, hey, based on my experience between, like midnight and 5 a.m., there is no sales. Well, but it's a generic statement. Now, in our case, the system says, based on the data, here is the suggestion. between 2 a.m. to 4 a.m., like do not, spend money on ads. But between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m., do. And it depends on the product. It's not like a very generic statement. So that's the day parting that system already works on it, but the owner or the PPC expert can override it by defining that specific hourly rule as well.
Okay. You talked a little bit about campaign creation, and I'd like to talk about that and campaign infrastructure. It seems like if you were to take a PPC 101 class, one thing that may be covered, and maybe this is outdated, but is the different types of campaigns. And I would say that in this class, this was what was taught probably 3 or 4 years ago, is when you launch a product, you set up an auto campaign. And what that's going to do is it's going to harvest keywords for you. And when you have so many conversions or orders, you take those keywords and you put them into a manual campaign. Now, there are so many more options. You've got exact phrase, match, broad. And so going through a product launch and then just kind of sustaining a product's level of sales, what do you think's the ideal campaign infrastructure?
First of all, as you mentioned, like all this keyword isolation and creating the manual campaigns from the automated campaigns, this, I think, alone is like 20-25% of a PPC expert's job, because there is always new products, there's always new keywords coming in, and you need to always have that convert discussions and checking the system and everything. Now, we basically eliminated it 100%. So everything happens through this automation. Now, in this case, I wouldn't call it specifically AI, but this is like pure automation, because it's already clear. Well, you can still decide on how this automation is triggered. And the other thing is, like, it's always not that easy for a person to, for example, create a campaign and assign just one keyword to that campaign, and then also decide like whether it is an exact or broad and etc. Now, the system can decide on it, because when the system sees like somebody is looking for a light bulb, but it's 60 watts. Okay, now there's always like, I love this example because that's one of our customers, and it's very clear. People actually don't search for light bulbs. They search with that specific information, because there's so many different light bulbs. So it's an exact search. Now, the AI also knows that it's an exact search, because looking into the search terms, it's already pretty obvious that that is the search term, and there is no light bulb search term. Maybe even you negate that, if that makes any sense. Depends on the context. But the idea here is like the system kind of starts, if knows, to decides like whether it's exact or broad. In some cases, we let the system run the campaigns for some time, and then the ones, it's kind of a natural selection process, in a way that the ones which are not converting after a day or two, they die. So that's also another way of like, like the way that the system kind of decides. Now, the complexity is huge. Like if you leave it to a manual, like done by a PPC expert, well, we still need the PPC expert. Don't get me wrong. We're not getting rid of that PPC expert, but this particular task or day parting, like given that for a product, there might be 100 campaigns. And if you want to do day parting and optimize the bits, like we're talking about every day, thousands of updates. I mean, who is going to take care of like every single thing? That's why I think AI is not optional. It's like almost like mandatory. It's the core of the business is done by the AI plus your rules. Again, I'm talking about the configurable AI, right? And I would talk about the PPC expert and what we think that guy should do, but I hope I at least answer your question for now.
Absolutely. And one thing I want to clear up is on a particular single product, what campaigns would typically be running? Is it an auto, broad, phrase, and exact? Or does it just depend on the product?
Depends on the product and depends on the success, right? I mean, I think the system, unless it is predefined, because in some categories and some of the search terms immediately end up AI to run the exact campaign. But in some of the other cases, it will make more sense to run these campaigns and then see the results and then kill some of them. Like that's what like the AI is doing, which, is also another possibility as well. Of course, there is like so many different parameters here, right? Like branded versus non-branded, or is it an awareness or consideration or conversion campaign? Because these are different than like, like one of the big mistakes, right? So people say, oh, ACOS too high on this campaign. Kill it. Like, people do this advertising audit. I love it. Like the agencies do advertising audits. And then they basically say, this campaign, we need to kill it because it's 10%, it's 50% ACOS or something, right? Well, the question, this is an awareness campaign, right? Like the ACOS level versus a kind of a converting campaign might be different, right? So the system kind of looks into all this multi-dimensions like broad, exact, match, plus branded, non-branded, plus where is it, like what type of a campaign is that in terms of the marketing funnel, and then decides based on that. Becomes really, that's the main complexity because of the multi-dimensional decision-making process. It becomes impossible for a human to decide. So what human does is only decide based on maximum 2 dimensions. And like we call that guy like the best PPC expert, but even that guy will ignore some of the other dimensions when deciding on that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You were talking about the different pillars of PPC, and bid optimization was one. And if you talk about just a manual way of optimizing an account, you'll click on a manual campaign. There'll be 20 keywords there, and there'll be 10 of them that aren't getting any impressions. And let's just use dog bowl as an example. It's not getting any impressions. Amazon suggests that you bid between 75 cents and $1. And you ask yourself the question, well, if I could get it for 75 cents, why would I adjust my bid to $1? And so you make your adjustment, and then you come back 2 weeks later and see if you have any impressions. And so how does the tool optimize bids, and how does it look at increasing bids or decreasing bids? Because that is kind of a scary thing. You are giving a machine your credit card to go spend money on your behalf. And so how does the system work with bid optimization?
Absolutely. So, I mean, I agree with you. Obviously, we always think that the best thing here is to combine the PPC expert and the AI agent, right? I mean, I don't believe the software alone approach. And as a guy in the industry, a computer engineer who is like very happy with AI, taking care of a lot of tasks. But I don't believe that if you just let your system to run by AI, you will not go anywhere. First of all, let me explain this one, because a lot of this, you asked the question, the bid optimization, right? But a lot of these decisions are these decisions really depend on your data or the context? Meaning that, think about like what can go wrong. Here you go. Like, let's say your competitor is out of stock and another one just increased the price. As a result of that, now you are selling more and people are even clicking more to your ads and the conversion even increased. Everything is great. And think about the AI solution. The AI solution will think that, hey, I am doing great. I mean, you are not doing great. It's the context that is doing. That's why the autonomous car company, that thing, already companies like Waymo, Google, etc., they spend trillions of dollars and still it's not there yet, right? There is maybe a couple of years to go, but it's trillions of dollars. In the beginning, it was hey, in 1 year, the autonomous cars will be everywhere. Why? Because the context parameters. Now it's the same thing. The context is changing. It's not the same context. And the AI is looking at your data. It's hard for AI to know the other contexts unless there is some scraping, etc. Fine. We do. I'm not saying we do it, but we are able to get third-party data and do some ranking-based campaigns because we want to do organic growth, etc. But still, you cannot control all the other parameters around you. Even maybe somebody is creating an attack campaign and reduce the price $1 below you and attacking you. How do you know? If you're the AI system, you don't know. So what I'm saying is that's where the PPC expert should focus on. We are pretty much taking care of 65% of all the tasks of the PPC expert. Shouldn't be too much, focused on the bid optimization on everything, but really focus on that competitive intelligence, because that's where the differentiator of the PPC expert is from our point of view. When it comes to the bid optimization, again, in the system, it's not just because you say, hey, spend $10 on this bid, the system can do it, right? Because even the Amazon system doesn't work like that. If you spend a lot of, if you say $10 per bid, but the CPC is $2, probably you will end up somewhere spending $2 anyways. But then again, the main thing, and by the way, this is an evolving strategy here. And the problem with optimizations is, what if you spend a bit more and you'll be in the top of the search? And what if you are doing a suboptimal strategy, meaning that you are sub-optimizing the bid, meaning your ACOS is fine, but you're in the third row. And maybe if you put a bit more, you'll be on the first row. And that's where I am very much focused right now, because I can tell you that is I don't see any risks today. Even a human itself, it is more risky than the EVA AI tool. And Amazon doesn't allow many things, but you always have a PPC expert, or the system has all types of alerts. You're not going to spend $100,000. There is no way. But the main thing that I am focusing on is even the people, the PPC specialist or the system always looks into ACOS, TACOS, CVR, CTR, but kind of ignores what happens if I am on Amazon.com, I search for that keyword, and where am I? Where am I exactly? And how can I go maybe on top? Because that's not what AI does, okay? It's kind of a different strategy here. It's not optimization. It's I need to bid for that and then get to the top of the search, right? So that's a bit different. That's where we are focusing our R&D right now. We are almost there, but that's a big deal to achieve that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I have to say, it's refreshing to hear a company founder that's AI driven talk about the human element, and that as we stand here, it's a necessity. You had made the comment at the beginning of the episode how there's a lot of AI powered companies, and to people tuning in on audio, I'm doing air quotes here. But what does that really mean? And I would use the example of just because you give somebody a hammer doesn't mean they can build you a house. And in this case, just having the hammer being the technology, that there needs to be the human element as we stand here talking. And so we promised a deep dive on PPC, and I think we're delivering. Hi, are there any other PPC related topics that you think would be worth talking about?
I just want to emphasize the point of human, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially like now, like there's, of course, the search-based campaigns. I mean, there's also like retargeting and remarketing stuff, but then there's the audience-based campaigns. I mean, when it comes to the audiences and creating the audiences, again, you need the human element because that is not done automatically. What is automatic is like the Amazon Marketing Cloud or even our system can give you the ideas, but at the end, the human decides like what makes sense to bid for when it comes to an audience-based marketing. And that's why, for example, we are also a DSP provider. And our customers say, hey, great, the PPC automation is great. We're going to have this. We understand now our PPC expert can look after, I don't know, instead of one account, maybe 5 accounts. What about DSP automation or DSP AI with DSP? And I tell them like, hey, I think pretty much all the DSP automation is kind of like rubbish from my point of view, because that's all about remarketing, retargeting stuff, which you can also easily do, which makes sense. But the point is, do you really need to buy a tool to do that? And then the real DSP value is generating that audience. For example, you are a peanut butter, you're selling peanut butters and you're targeting the audiences which purchased peanut butter from your competitors 4 weeks ago, with the assumption that now the peanut butter is kind of like, it's not enough. And like the consumer will buy a peanut butter in the next 1 week, let's assume. Now, this is kind of like the scenario that you generate. And that is where we need human. I mean, we need human to think about all these differences. That's why the competitive context, I think, is the biggest differentiator of the human. I just want to give another example. What if it makes more sense to give a discount or a strike-through price or a coupon or some type of a deal instead of maybe pushing more advertising? Again, that's a human decision. We are building the connection between, we are the only company, we have the dynamic pricing module, works with advertising, but I still feel like the human can have a better decision-making against the competition when it comes to a decision of maybe I should do a little bit less advertising and maybe I should reduce the price down. I mean, that's kind of a decision of that human. That's why I'm telling the PPC experts now, you need to you need to be responsible for pricing and promotion. You cannot just go away with like, I did my best with the ACOS. Well, maybe not. Maybe this tool, this product, price sensitive. Maybe you need to reduce the price a bit. And your ACOS then go down because your conversion rate goes up as a result. That's why that's my recommendation. The PPC expert, now you need to be the pricing and promotion expert too. Like you need to combine this because we are doing 65% of all the mundane tasks for you. You don't need to deal with that.
I really like that. In a situation I think a lot of people are in is they'll hire a PPC manager for 20 hours a week, and 18 of those hours are spent doing bid optimizations. And so what we're doing by using technology is allowing them to work on higher return on investment things. And that's really, really good. Now, the Ava doesn't just do PPC. There are several more features on the platform. Can you talk about those a little bit?
Absolutely. So thanks for, asking me that question too. So one of the things that we do really well for more than 10,000 sellers right now is the recovery services. For the sellers, it means the FBA reimbursements, and we have a success fee rate of 9%. So basically, whatever we recover, like whenever we recover the funds, we take 9% of it. We also do that for Amazon vendors, which is the vendor funds recovery, which is nothing to do with like FBA, but it's more the financial disputes and kind of, raising that again, like to to Amazon and getting the vendors' money back. So that's kind of a big deal. We also provide SEO graphic design services for some of the customers. Like the reason why we do that is, again, I just want to, as the AI guy, when we work with a company or an agency, and if I don't feel like, for example, the listing is not optimized or graphic design doesn't make sense to me, then the chances to be successful with advertising is limited, right? Like that's what I said in the beginning. That's why I came up, like even yesterday, I was having this huge contract conversation with a supplement brand. And at some point I said, you know what? I'm going to give you the graphic design for free. And like the guy was like super excited, because he thought like the negotiation is done and now I'm giving more. Because I said, I'm going to give you like 100 hours of graphic design. And he's like, are you crazy? Like, why are you doing this? I said, because if I don't do it with this listing, you're going to fail anyways. And then you're going to blame me. So, I'm getting enough money from you for the advertising. I'll give this to you because we need at least like all this 6-7 ASINs. We need to do all this, image design, visualization and all that stuff, like brand story, A+ content. We need to do that. So we need to increase this conversion rate, right? So that's why we have this supplementary services around advertising and recovery, which are the two main things that we focus on. When it comes to advertising, we also believe that there is some good software tools too, but there is no support. So we have this unlimited strategic calls. We assign a dedicated person to every single brand or agency. So even the agents, they got why are you assigning it? We say, no, we need to assign you a PPC expert because we need to do this right for you so that you can then go and, do it for your customers better. Or if you work with a brand, the same. They sometimes say, hey, I know enough. I don't know. We need to have this expert for you. So it's a combination of three things when it comes to advertising: the configurable AI, the unlimited support, and the organic growth focused advertising. This comes like the differentiators of our software plus the people or human approach.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, no, good to hear about all the other aspects of Ava. And you have a special offer for all the Firing the Man audience. Can you share that?
Sure. Yeah. So I think, I'll go for two special offers here, not even one. So the first one is the easy thing, this reimbursements. Let's, we have the 9% commission rate. That's already the best in the market. We do it for 10,000 customers, right? But on top of that, I would like to offer an additional $500 that is kind of reimbursed for free, just for them to get the taste of it. And the rest we can handle that. You don't need to do it internally or anybody else with anybody else. You pay 25%. My second offer is on the advertising side. So up to $10,000 ad spend, our platform plus the expert services is $499. That covers a lot of the sellers, but then if you're doing more than that, it still makes sense. But we're going to give a $500 off on that software services too for anyone who wants to use our Eva AI platform for advertising.
Outstanding. And I'll post links to all of that in the show notes. Hi, before we wrap up the show, we have something called the Fire Round. It's 4 questions we ask every guest at the end of the episode. Are you ready?
Sure.
All right. What is your favorite book?
Yeah, so my favorite book is The Capital from Thomas Piketty.
Very nice. What are your hobbies?
Biggest hobbies are bodybuilding and swimming. I do, I do swim every second day or the bodybuilding, like weightlifting and things like that.
Very nice. What is one thing you do not miss about working for the man?
It's I just don't miss to report something on a specific time frame,
Yeah.
which I don't miss at all.
Yeah. Oh, very good. And final question, what do you think sets apart successful entrepreneurs from those who give up, fail, or never get started?
Success from my point of view is there any progression today? Now, if you feel like you are progressing, don't fixate on some success, some target that you need to achieve. Ignore that. The key point is there any progression? Because if there is no progression, you need to think twice. There is progression, then forget it. You will progress. You will reach any target if you are progressing.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, Hai, thank you so much for your time today and looking forward to staying in touch.
Thanks, David. Thanks for having me.
Before you go, we wanted to share a new service that Ken and I have been using called Getita that has made us over $10,000 in Amazon reimbursements. The service requires no monthly subscription, and Getita collects a small percentage of the money they recover for you. It takes less than 5 minutes to set up and works on all Amazon marketplaces. Go to Getita.com, Getida.com, and enter promo code FTM400. That's FTM for Firing the Man 400 to get your first $400 in reimbursements commission free. How much money does Amazon owe you?